Welcome back to week 5 of the Different Sports Podcast Show. Hard to believe, we're already halfway through the regular season almost of high school football. We're shooting this one live in a new location, Southern Columbia's Tiger Stadium. However, we're at the top of the press box, second story, while a field hockey game is going on here. So, anyway, let's get right into the picks for this week. Last week at the high school level, I went 8-2. I lost the Loyalsock to Bloomsburg game. I picked the Lancers. However, they lost their quarterback, who's going to Villanova, to a broken collarbone, and Bloomsburg ultimately won that game by 11 points. And in an undefeated matchup, I picked South Williamsport to beat Muncie, but Muncie won that one by a touchdown. So 8-2 last week. Overall record, I'm 33-7. This week's games, Berwick at Selinsgrove. Berwick's trying to get revenge from last year, so I'm going with the Bulldogs in that one. They're one of the hotter teams in the area. Next game, Lewisburg at Shamokin. Saw Shamokin obviously play against Southern last week. Coach Hynoski's doing a good job with those Indians. However, they're just not quite there yet to compete with some of the other teams in the league, so I'm going with the Green Dragons in that one. Mifflinburg at Warrior Run. Mifflinburg's improved from last year. They're right now 2-2. It would be the first time that they're over 500 this late in the season in almost a decade. I'm going with the Wildcats to win that one. The one that I was in between on, Loyalsock at Montoursville. In my opinion, it's the toughest pick of the week. If Loyalsock's quarterback did not get hurt, I probably would have went with the Lancers. However, I'm going with the Warriors of Montoursville in their redemption season from their struggles last year. Next one, Danville at Milton. Bottom line is Danville's strength's better than Milton's strength. I'm going with the Ironmen in that one pretty handily. Hughesville at Wellsboro. This is one of the few matchups this year that a Northern Tier team can beat a Heartland Conference team, and I think the Hornets will do so. I'm picking Wellsboro. Bloomsburg at South Williamsport. Bloomsburg has the momentum off that big win last week. South Williamsport lost their first game last week, and I think this is 2 in a row for the Mounties. I'm going with the Panthers. Midwest at Jim Thorpe. This is an interesting matchup of cross-district opponents. I didn't know who to pick, so I'm just going with the mascot I like better. I'm going with the Olympians of Jim Thorpe. North Schuylkill at Mount Carmel. Coal region matchup. North Schuylkill's had the upper hand in this one, winning every game in the series since 2013. However, I think this is the year that Coach Dara beats the Spartans. I'm going with the Red Tornadoes to win that one at the Silver Bowl. And Southern at Central. Obviously a backyard rivalry between Southern Columbia and Central Columbia. Last couple of years I keep hearing all these Central fans saying this is the year that the Blue Jays can beat the Tigers. And I'm here to tell you again, no it's not. Tigers win that one handily. On to the college games. Last week I went 2-2. I picked 5 games a week. However, I went 2-2 because the West Virginia game at North Carolina State was canceled because of Hurricane Florence. So I have to pick 6 games this week to make up for that. 2 games I lost last week. LSU beat Auburn by a point, and surprisingly, Texas just whooped up on USC. So overall, I'm 8-6 in college games, and again, I pick games that are pretty much draws or within 2 to 3 point spreads. Gotta stop this timeout here. I'm controlling a clock for the JV game as this is going on. Gaige Garcia's helped me, so thank you, but I should have told him to stop the clock there. Timeout, who would have thought there was timeouts in field hockey? So, this week, 6 games. It's pretty pathetic that this is an interesting matchup. Northern Illinois at Florida State. 5 weeks ago, I would have said Florida State would have won this by 40, 50 points. However, the Seminoles stink right now. I'm going with the Noles, however, to finally win one. They lost the last 2 for me. So if Florida State loses to Northern Illinois, Willie Taggart might be on the hot seat 4 or 5 games into his coaching career at Florida State. Next one, Pittsburgh at UNC. This is an ACC trip for Pitt to travel down to the Tar Heels. Obviously, Pitt has a decent travel. However, right now in North Carolina, the hurricane obviously on the mind of a lot of people, and I think that's going to play into it. I'm going with the Pitt Panthers to win that one. Next one, Big Ten matchup. Wisconsin travels to Iowa. It's the first time the Badgers are out of the top 10 national rankings in a long time, so I expect them to bounce back. I'm picking the Badgers in that one. This one's one of those games that's outside of what they call the Big Five conferences in college football. Florida Atlantic at UCF. Florida Atlantic at Central Florida. Lane Kiffin, now the coach at Florida Atlantic, and he takes on UCF, who's technically the national champions from last year, according to the Central Florida University. I find it hard to believe they would even come close to compete with Alabama, but good for them, national champs. So I'll go with the Golden Knights to make them happy on that matchup. Game 5, battle in Texas. TCU travels to Texas. Texas coming off that big win against USC. TCU's coming off that blowout loss. However, I see getting back to what I expected prior to this week. I'm going with the Horned Frogs in that one. And the final one, College Game Day this week's traveling to Eugene, Oregon for the Pac-12 clash between the Stanford Cardinal and my Oregon Ducks. I am thinking a lot of people will be picking Stanford. Obviously, they're in the top 6 in the country. Many people think they're far and away the best team in the Pac-12. I'm going, obviously, with my Ducks. I can't pick against Oregon. So, in an upset, I'm going with the Ducks to win that one. NFL. Last week, I was 2-4. I had to pick 6 games last week, not because of a weather delay like college football, because of a tie in the Steelers-Browns game. So, 6 games last week. I was an awful 2-4. 2 teams, thank you, Pennsylvania. The Steelers lost. Eagles lost. Both teams looked disgraceful on defense. So that's what I get, I guess, for picking Pennsylvania National Football League teams this early on in the season. Jaguars, I didn't expect that, but good for them. They finally beat the Patriots. And Thursday night, I went with the Ravens, and Joe Flacco proved to me that he's still as overrated as he was last year as the Bengals beat them. So overall in the NFL games, I'm only 5-5. This week, Thursday night, the Jets travel to the Browns. For the first time since 2016, the Cleveland Browns will win a football game, and it'll be in front of their home crowd. The Dog Pound will be going crazy Thursday night into Friday morning. Next game, Indianapolis travels to Philadelphia. Colts are going to be the first team this year to have to go up against Carson Wentz in his return. The Eagles need some kind of change after the way they looked last week. I'm going with the Eagles in that one. Next game, Green Bay travels to Washington. Aaron Rodgers obviously still hurting a little bit, and the Packers are coming off a tie. I'm going with the Cheeseheads to win that one. Fourth game, this is the Monday night game next week. Pittsburgh at Tampa Bay. Asked me this 4 weeks ago. I don't even think it's going to be close. However, it's a complete 180-degree turn for both organizations. The Steelers are on the downfall. Buccaneers are on the uprise. Steelers management, organization, coaching staff just can't seem to get a control over their players. Arguing with the offense and defensive coordinators. Le'Veon Bell still hasn't showed up. Antonio Brown decided to be the next star to skip practice for the Steelers. He was busy tweeting fans yesterday, arguing with fans rather than showing up for practice, so that's always good. I'm still going to go with the Steelers in that one, however. And the last one, first time this is a matchup in Los Angeles between the Chargers and the Rams. I'm going with the Rams because although the Chargers have a good offense, I think the Rams are probably the most complete team in football this year. I'm going with I almost said St. Louis Rams, the Los Angeles Rams. Okay, next, welcoming in 2 members of the Tigers football team. Far apart in grade levels as you can get. Freshman on the left of me, Gavin Garcia. Senior on the right of me, Shane Miller. Okay, we'll go with seniority first in this one. Shane, being that you're a senior, how do you, and I'm sure a lot of other players, everybody goes through it, but how are you personally handling this mentally as your senior year compared to going into your freshman, sophomore, and junior year in football? But obviously you can take the same approach, thinking of it mentally from wrestling and baseball as well.
I'm just trying to take it week by week and embrace everything that's coming at me. Stay focused on the games and just know that you're never going to get this time back and take it week by week and play the best I can.
Okay, Gavin, opposite end of the spectrum. You're coming off playing at a high level. Last year, junior high, as an 8th grader playing freshman football. What's the biggest difference from the junior high ranks to moving up and really not playing JV, so you're moving up 2 levels to the varsity level already?
I'd say the biggest difference is probably just everyone on the other side of the ball is just bigger, faster, and stronger, so it's a little harder to run the ball. And definitely just the fact that there's so many more people at the game, family and friends. Just want to impress them a little bit.
Okay, there we are. 1-0 in this game, field hockey matchup here at Tiger Stadium tonight. Okay, Shane. Obviously, Coach Roth was the big storyline, quickest last year to get to 400 wins. But if you guys win on Friday night at Central, it'll be the 500th win in school history. Obviously, that's impressive. But how much more impressive is it the fact that Southern got to a late start in terms of the state football teams? Southern started in 1960s. Other area schools like Mount Carmel, Shamokin started in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So Southern's about 60 years behind a lot of the other programs in the area, and especially the powerhouses in the state. How impressive is it what Coach Roth has done since he took over a program that, again, had some successful seasons before Coach Roth got here, but the majority of them were obviously disappointing?
Well, when Coach has 400 wins out of 500 in school history, I say that says enough right there. But just shows how he knows what he's talking about, and he really brings the whole team together and gets them to play at their highest level.
And how important, branching off of that, is it to have the assistant coaches that he has that have been with him for so many years?
That plays into effect a lot. The defensive coordinator knows what he's talking about too. He's been here for a while, so they all work together and they know their stuff. Okay,
Gavin. Now this might be a little awkward because he's sitting right next to you out of the picture doing the clock for me right now until this is over. Talk about playing with Gaige. Obviously, big shoe prints to fill. Gaige is on pace, barring any injury, breaking the school record for rushing yards. Potentially, seeing how it goes, could be in the runnings for the state record as well. What's that been like?
It's pretty cool just knowing that if my name gets called or his name gets called, either one of us can pretty much make a play. So that's cool. And if I get the ball, I know he's gonna block for me, and if his name gets called in the huddle, just motivates me to block a little better.
Okay, we'll end that there because Gaige is getting misty-eyed over there. He's getting emotional. How much it means to him.
What time's the pot? What time?
Now we got a third Garcia. All we need is Grady to get into the picture. And nice haircut there, Garrett. Okay, so next question for Shane. Okay, obviously still months away. Biggest thing that makes Southern football, in my opinion, so successful is that you take each week and it's just as important as the week before. You don't look ahead. But if I was to write something down, if I had a crystal ball right now, I'm going to ask you in 2 different ways. If Southern was to miss out in winning a state championship, why would that be?
I think we'd get in our own heads a little bit, get caught up in the media, lack of focus maybe, and just think we're better than everyone and not work as hard.
Now, on the other end, which I know you guys are hoping for and striving to get that state record 9th state championship, if Southern Columbia wins that final game down in Hershey, why is it?
I think it's a lot of development through the season. Play your best football at the end of the year. That's what the coaches always say. If our offensive line comes together and plays their best, I think that'll be, and the coaching staff, I think that'll be the reason.
Okay, Gavin, last question, and then I'm going to get into my new segment for the second week. Obviously, a lot of people have saw it on social media. It's been posted on different accounts. Probably right now the most impressive play of the year, maybe in all of District 4. Take me through that run you had at Selinsgrove where you seemingly broke tackles from everybody on the field for them, and as we do that, goal. So stop the clock, Gaige. And now hit home. Actually, Gavin, just take me through that run, and I'm going to had this goal?
It's just a 9:29 sweep, so I got to follow my pulling guard, John Stavinsky, who's a pretty good lead blocker. Like following him on runs, and from there, it just kind of just happens in the moment with runs. You really don't even know what you're doing, and just keep my feet moving. Somehow broke off momentum. From there, it was just open field. Joined, laid down a nice block, and just got to the end zone.
And those of you that didn't see it, he broke every Seals blocker, it seemed, on and off the field. I think there was players even trying off the sidelines to come and tackle him. Now start that clock, Gaige. Okay, so Gaige is failing so far at his clock duty. Not too many things you have to do for field hockey. Goals and time. Okay, so that takes care of our interview questions. Shane and Gavin will stay right here because they're going to be coming back for our weekly trivia segment that's become a popular talk for Southern players here. Okay, so my new segment's called the Talk Walk, and what we do, we're going to walk into popular topics and simply talk about them. I have 3 each week. First one, actually 2 are unfortunately negative this week, but they're what's on the media, top of the media list right now. Obviously, the first one's Hurricane Florence. Unfortunately, 34 people have died as of this morning. 26 of those people are in North Carolina from a variety of things, obviously drownings, fires, tree falling down, killed somebody, and the most devastating one that I've read was a mother actually was carrying her 1-year-old child from her car when it was caught in the flooding, and she lost grips of him, and they found the boy dead. So just devastating. Obviously, in situations like this, different organizations like the Red Cross, Salvation Army, United Way, and others help out. And the Florida governor just set up a text message that if you text 20222, so 20 and then 3 2s, 5 numbers, text the word Florence to that number, and you can donate any amount that you want. Obviously, any dollar at this point is certainly recommended to help. Again, unless you're in the situation, it's just devastating. So prayers go out to all those people from Hurricane Florence. Second one. Luckily, this only affected one person. Obviously, it affected the whole family. Another devastation. Shark attack this past weekend. First fatal one in Massachusetts since 1936. Obviously, not a joking matter. Somebody died, and I send my prayers out. I know these guys would say the same thing for the family of the person that died. However, and I had this debate with people over the weekend when I found out. Okay, hold on one second. We're going to set the clock. And we're going to get this rolling. Okay, so anyway, shark attack. Small percentage, people are saying there's a small percentage that you get attacked by a shark. Here's an even smaller percentage. Stay out of the ocean. There's a 0% chance that you will get eaten by a shark if you stay out of the ocean. I can guarantee you that. Small percent means there is a percent. With that being said, I don't understand what the big deal is with people even liking the ocean. I had this discussion with my students today. What's so beneficial about going to the shore? Go to the shore, you get sand all over your body, you feel miserable, you feel scummy with the salt in the air, you can step on shells, the sand burns the bottom of your feet, sand gets in your food, in your drinks, then you go in the water's, first of all, usually cold, second of all, there's this thing called a shark in there that can potentially get you, because after all, you are going into its house. How many people in the United States get arrested every year because they go in, they trespass or steal from other people's houses? Technically, you're going into the house of the shark. So don't let that fool you either. And you get sunburnt, bit by crabs, stingrays, jellyfish. I'll stop the rant there, but again, there is a chance that you can get eaten by a shark. Last one. NFL ties. For as much of a football lover as I am, there's nothing stupider than NFL ties. There's 4, and I have 3 fingers up, 4 major American sports vaguely. 3 of them don't have ties. NHL, NBA, Major League Baseball. What do we have? Do we have something coming up?
They said you're supposed to put 8 minutes back on the clock.
8 minutes back on the clock. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, so we put 8 minutes back on the clock. All right. So anyway, baseball, hockey, basketball, none of them have ties. Since this NFL tie rule was set into place in 1974, no season in NFL history has had more than 2 ties in it. 2 weeks into this season, there's already been 2 ties. Heading into the season, the game that was just at Lambeau Field between the Packers and Vikings.
Halftime of Varsity, put 10 on the clock.
Halftime of Varsity put 10 on the clock.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Halftime of Varsity put 10 on the clock. Okay. So, the game at Lambeau in the preseason, the day before NFL kickoff, it was rated as the 13th highest paying ticket price for a game this season. It averaged $8 below $500. So $492 per ticket to go see that game. Fans obviously spend a great deal of money. They spend a great deal of time, show their support, travel from all over the country. The players put in the effort in the off season and in the season. What in the world is the purpose of having a tie at any level? Like they say, it's like kissing your sister. It's worse than that because you don't get a win, you don't get a loss. They're professionals. This isn't youth soccer where everybody deserves a participation trophy. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. Whether you do it like the college rules, where you start from the 25, eventually have to go for 2, or if you do it like they do in hockey, where if you tie after the first overtime or whatever, each team gets like a half a win, and then the winning team gets a win. I don't care what you do, but eliminate this tie crap, especially with how awful some of these NFL kickers are. I mean, that second tie shouldn't have happened. Vikings kicker, I think, was fired before he even left the stadium after that one. So that's enough rants from me. Okay, now I don't want them cheating here. Shane's a 12th grader, so I decided to go with 12 questions. These topics are going to be current events for the most part, and there's 1 or 2 random ones, but they're pretty much current events. So, just 12 questions, not multiple choice, 12 questions. So, first question. What city were the 2016 Summer Olympics held in? What city were the 2016 Summer Olympics held in?
Alright, speed it up.
Okay, next question. Who is the current game show host of the TV show The Price is Right? Current game show host of the TV show The Price is Right. Starting to sweat here.
Do I have to answer all these?
Well, I would guess. I mean, if you don't, it's a loss.
I
So,
don't know it.
well, then don't guess, I guess. Give up. Doesn't get you anywhere in life, giving up. 3. What is the name of the oldest Kardashian sister? What is the name of the oldest Kardashian sister? Okay. 4. Which member of the band One Direction left in 2015 for good? Which member of the band One Direction left in 2015 for good?
Can we get their names?
That would be the name.
Yeah. Can I get them? All of them?
I don't know all of them. I just know the one that left. The only reason I know that is because I Googled a question. Okay. Number 5. In the game of pool, what is the standard color for the 1 ball? Obviously, the 8 ball is black. What's the standard color for the 1 ball? Number 1, because Southern Columbia is currently ranked number 1 in the state. Next question. Which actor plays the role of Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies? What's the actor's name of Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies?
I think I should know this.
Next question. When referring to a type of music, what does R and B stand for? When referring to music, so you obviously have country, rock, rap. What does R and B stand for? That girl just took a field hockey ball off of her leg. That would hurt. R and B. Okay, now I know Gavin plays this game. I don't know if you do as well, Shane. Speaking of Fortnite, which is the most popular video game, has nothing to do with the video game other than the name. A fortnight is a unit of time equal to how many days? When they say a fortnight, how many days is a fortnight? And a little hint, fortnight, don't think it's one day, it's more than one day. You can at least guess that, Shane. Okay, obviously one of the most popular things to listen to on your phone these days is Spotify. Certainly has changed the way millennials like us here, we're all millennials, have changed the way they listen to music. But which millennial holds the current record for the most streamed song of all time on that platform? I'll give you 2 points, a bonus point, if you name not just the singer or the artist, but you name the song. Okay, that was question 8. Right?
That was 9.
That was
9.
10.
Huh?
That was 9. That was
That was 9. We're on 10.
We're on 10.
Oh, okay, my bad. Question 10. Who was fired from his position as the director of the FBI in May of 2017?
And we're supposed to know this?
Yeah, that's kind of a big deal.
I remember that.
FBI director that was fired in 2017 by Trump over all the controversy. What was his name? Okay, 11. Trivia question. I'll give you another hint. This person died within the last year. Who was the first woman to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? First woman to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's too easy. First name starts with an A. That's all I'm telling you. Last name starts with an F. Well, I did everything but give you the answer.
All right, next question.
Last question. Frank Gore of my Miami Dolphins just moved into 4th all-time on the NFL's rushing list. Who did he pass for 4th all-time in NFL history on the career rushing list? Okay, so, which question can you repeat it?
2.
Number 2, who's the current game show host on The Price is Right?
They don't get it. I'll have these.
I think I do know.
And that is the end of halftime. So Gaige, what you're gonna do is you have to hit it, click that thing, yeah. Now set clock, 30 or 25, my bad.
8, 7.
7. 1, 2,
that
3,
the
4,
FBI
5, 6, 7. What does R&B stand for in music? What does R&B stand for in music?
I just remembered who the oldest Kardashians.
Okay. What else do you need?
I don't know.
The answer.
Song, Spotify, who's the artist, and the next one is FBI director. So, it's getting too hot in here and people are going to get sick of listening to this at this point, so we're going to go over the answers. City, 2016 Summer Olympics were held in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil.
I got
Both of you got that correct, so 1 each. Who's the current game show host of The Price is Right?
Drew Carey.
I got that.
He actually did get that, yep. Okay, Drew Carey, so Shane's up 2-1. What is the name of the oldest Kardashian sister?
Courtney.
I had Kim. It's the only one I know.
Courtney is correct. 2-2. Gaige is over here saying Kim must be searching her. pictures. I don't know what he's doing. Okay, remember the band One Direction that left in 2015?
Put Neil.
Who?
Neil.
It's Zayn.
Zayn, start the clock so we don't get yelled at. Zayn Malik or Malik? I don't know how you pronounce it. They each put Niall or Neil or what. So you got that wrong. Okay.
It's Zayn, right?
It's Zayn Malik. Okay. Color of the one ball in pool is yellow.
Nope.
He put orange. Gavin got that right. Actor that plays Captain Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
Both of you got that right. No. You put Jack Sparrow plays Jack Sparrow. Wow. So what do we have? 3 to 3. Okay, so
I got 4.
you're not playing, no Gaige. He has 4. Whoop-de-doo. Okay, 7. Halfway through, tied at 3 apiece. What does R&B stand for?
Rhythm.
Rhyme and blues.
Rhythm Bex.
Rhythm Bex?
Nope.
Nothing?
It's rhyme and blues.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Get out of here.
Rhythm and blues.
Oh,
Not
rhythm.
rhyme.
Do I get a half
So
point?
nobody, no, you don't get anything.
Oh,
Rhythm and blues. A
Rhythm.
fortnight is a unit of time equal to how many days?
100.
7.
Shane was closer, but you're still wrong. 14 days. 2 weeks is a fortnight. Spotify has changed the way millennials listen to music. Which millennial holds the current record for the most streamed song on the platform? It's Ed Sheeran, and the song is Shape of You.
I put Gangnam
That's
Style.
God's plan.
Gangnam Style.
God's Plan,
Nothing.
Gangnam Style is the most popular.
Gangnam Style. It was Ed Sheeran, Shape of You. Who was fired from his position as the director of the FBI in May of 2017? Answers James Comey.
What is what?
Well, he at least tried. Shane put nothing.
No.
Gavin put Barack Obama.
Makes sense.
Obama left the presidency and decided to be Trump's FBI director. Wouldn't that have been a comedy? Okay, first woman to be inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She passed away, Aretha Franklin.
Alright, I had Alicia.
Alicia, because I told you the first letter name.
Alright, well, I get
I had
half.
her.
No, you don't get. I told you what the first, and he didn't even put anything again other than AF because I told him. Okay, who just moved up to 4th on the all-time rushing list? That was Frank Gore, but who did he pass?
Marshall.
Eric Dickerson.
Marshawn Lynch, wrong.
Eric Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson, wrong.
Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson, wrong.
Barry Sanders.
Curtis Martin
I didn't know.
was the record.
Nope.
He held the record before that. So we have 1, 2, 3 points for Gavin. 1, 2, 3 points for Shane.
Tie.
So just like Gavin's brother Gaige, the first week we have our second tie
Just like
ever
Good
bonus
on the
question.
Difference podcast show.
Let's get a bonus question.
Bonus question. All right. Yeah, we
You
don't
said
want ties.
ties, you
Yeah,
said ties
very
are
true.
dumb.
We hate ties on this show. What other milestone will Southern Columbia hit this season before the regular season ends?
Should I say it out loud or like write it down?
Other than a state championship.
I guess.
regular season record.
Nope. Regular season win streak? Nope. 500 wins for the school? Yes, but I already said that would be.
What?
So the other record that would be hit?
Something district wins.
Nope.
No.
Southern Columbia will play
Oh,
their
mostly
something. Nope. Southern Columbia will play in their something
District
if
title.
game of all time. How many games will Southern Columbia officially have played all time?
600.
They won 500 games
600.
after this week. How many games?
I've got 800.
700.
How many? What do you say?
600.
He's saying 800. He's saying.
600.
What are you saying?
700.
And Shane Miller splits the difference for the victory. The senior outdoes the freshman in overtime. Again, we don't have any room for ties on this show.
We're out.
Thank you for joining us for the Week 5 edition of the Different Sports Podcast. Anybody looking for information, comments, check out Facebook, check out my YouTube channel, and that'll do it. See you next week.